What's going on, guys? Welcome to another Penney's podcast. Yes, we are still here. We're still alive. It's been, we just checked the last episode. It's been 9 months.
Yikes. No, I'm not pregnant.
She's not pregnant. We got the new Unafraid Trust God t-shirts now available on unafraidshop.com. So please pick yourself up one. July 4th is right around the corner. So make sure you're supporting the red, white, and blue. Before we start, though, I've got to tell you, you are still gorgeous. All right? Just want to make sure that's out there.
Thanks so much.
She's gorgeous. But we're back, and we're glad to be back.
We're glad to be back.
What have we been doing?
Dude.
What have we not been doing?
What have we not been doing is a better question. Yeah. Man, lots of life changes. Mm-hmm. Lots of all kinds of changes, I guess you could say. And actually, why don't we start? I feel like we need to start with something.
Okay.
We need to start with a point. And I feel like, it goes back to like the Sean Ryan show.
It does. Before we start, can I explain the sign?
We can explain the sign.
So a few months ago, we bought this sign, and we got it mounted, cool, and we haven't used it. But when we put on the lights, it's a neon sign. It just blares out the camera on them. We're not lighting people. We're going to get a lighting person out to fix that situation. So I got some Doll spray. So if it doesn't look up to par, it's on me. That's my fault. So I got to get that out there, be completely transparent, and confess that that's all me. But that's it. Sorry, Sean Ryan. Good old Sean Ryan show.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like all the things that started unfolding, that was like the pivotal, one of the many pivotal points we've had in our time together in this life thus far.
Yeah, it was big. It was definitely life-changing. First of all, just being out there, seeing him after we figured it out. It was 20 years.
Really?
Since we saw each other. It was insane. And so we had obviously a very long podcast. It did very well. And it kind of sparked a lot of interest for the speaking events to talk about mindset. And then the greatest thing, talk about God and leadership. And Sean just dropped with his wife, Katie, Finding Faith. So
which is
Sean's
super cool.
starting his journey, which is just like, I mean, gosh, we've been talking about this and praying on this for how long? Long time. And other friends have been praying on it, and we've been discussing it. And how's he doing? What's going on?
Yeah, it's super cool.
It's
really cool to see.
It is really cool to see
how God works.
It is. But I mean, it started there, and then we wanted to do the speaking events. Then we started, the churches started coming in. Then we had to kind of revamp Unafraid. It was just a clothing line.
Yeah.
And then it turned into what we wanted.
Hold on, because people, if you guys haven't watched that podcast,
episode 43 on the Sean Ryan show.
It's like super, super duper emotional. And it was just an awesome podcast, just all around. But even though I know a lot about you, your story, your past, all the things, listening to that and just like, I mean, even for me, like that was like a major breakdown session for me. But anyways, so...
Did it make you love me more?
No.
So you don't love me more?
My back just popped.
Where's our chiropractor?
Anyways. No, so my point was that when that happened, I think, so first of all, I think like a spec ops guy, like finding Christ is, I'm not going to say like unheard of, but it is like a rarity, I feel like. Mm-hmm. And so that alone was just like, wow, like this guy is like, not only is he finding Christ, but he's willing to sit here and tell the whole world about it. I mean, how many people subscribe to Sean's podcast?
I think when we went on, I think he was at like 900,000 or no, like maybe 850.
Yeah.
Like 150K. And I think he's almost at 1.5 million right now.
Yeah.
Because he just hit number 4, I believe, of all, which is...
That's a huge accomplishment.
Awesome on you, Sean, if you're watching this, man. We love you, brother. And if you don't watch the Sean Ryan show, go watch the Sean Ryan show. He puts out some good stuff. He puts his heart into it, and he knows he's making a difference, and he is making a difference. It's awesome what he's doing. He speaks the truth. I love it.
Yeah. But yeah, I just think like there's that alone is because, people expect a lot of things out of you. They expect, this warrior mentality. They expect this like go-getter mindset guy, all these things, but then you go in and you like drop the God bomb on him. And it's like, I think a lot, and you know, just like we talked about with Sean, like a lot of people have been praying for this to happen with Sean. I think I know a lot of people are praying for the same thing to happen for you. And so it's just been really cool to see how like these guys in this community like are finding Christ. And it was like, I don't want to say, you know, you made mention one time in one of your speaking events, you're like, I think I've broken like every single one of the 10 commandments. And so it's like, how can God love someone who, you know, we kind of like talked about that. It's been a while ago, but we talked about that. And so anyways, just to see like you and just all these guys like you that are finding Christ is huge. So anyways, but like it's whenever that happened, that was when because all these people started reaching out like, you know, well, tell me, because you were raw and you were transparent and you just laid it out there for all these people to be like, oh my gosh, like, okay, if this guy can do all these things and God still loves him, then where does that leave these people? Right. And, anyway, so I think like that was a huge pivotal moment for us because you being super transparent was helping all these other people, you know, just be like, okay, well, I want what he found. Right?
Which is available.
Yeah, no, totally.
I think that's the thing is when you were talking about that, a word that kept popping up was disqualified. I think a lot of people is like, I can never be saved. I can never be loved by the Creator. And that's just not true.
Yeah. Cause I did all these things. And so I'm not worthy or I'm not.
That's just the enemy coming in and dropping the lies.
Yeah. But okay, so going back to where we've been though, that was a moment where everything changed, I think, in our lives as far as like the business and just us as humans, you know. I quit my job. That was a big moment for me. Quitting my job to help out. And I mean, I never really realized how much goes into all this.
Let's not take away what you're doing. She's not just helping out. She started a woman's line. So UNAFRAIDshop.com. We're now doing women's clothing because obviously our stuff was more for the men. It was. But so you said, hey, why don't we do this? And I was like, I agree with you. That's a great idea. And I'm like, I can't design those shirts. So that's on you, sister. And you've been rocking it. I think we've got what? You have 4?
There's 4 now. This is one. This is the Warrior tee. Just a fun, just fun little girly shirt. Nothing against dude shirts, by the way, because you know me, I only wear dude shirts. And then I cut them or I do whatever I want with them. But
what dude shirts are you wearing? What dude?
I just figured that this would give more of like a, just women who just maybe don't like the look of the men. I don't know, just turn it up a little bit.
So you got a couple crop tops, and then you got a couple t-shirts, you got a couple stickers we're putting out.
More stuff coming out. Yeah, we've got a lot of new things
more things. I think we're kind of diving into the shorts maybe, or joggers or something like that. So we're definitely going to expand for sure. But she's doing all that, and she's doing all the coordination of the events and the speaking engagements, and now she's starting to get up on stage and speak to the women, because I know I address the men, but that's only 50% of the household. We got to address the other side.
Yeah.
Because both need to be working in unison to accomplish whatever goal and put out the enemy. So you're doing a lot more. I don't think you realize that. I know that I don't know if I have the patience to deal with emails and coordination and I am.
It's a lot.
So
it's tedious stuff. So
she does a lot of stuff. That's so mad props. Like you do a lot of stuff. You make it very not so stressful for me. I'll tell you that.
Well, good. That was the whole goal was I knew
mission accomplished.
I knew that you weren't going to be able to do it all. Not to say that you can't. It's just it's easier when you've got someone designated to doing certain things, but
of course.
But yeah, so back to the Sean Ryan show.
Yep.
So, I don't even know how long after that was released that that influx of emails kept coming in, and it was like just like people who were, some of those emails, it was like people just spilling their guts, like just
it was very humbling,
completely breaking down. Just based off of a podcast where you were just honest. And, so there was just the emails and the Instagram messages and Facebook messages. And just all kinds of things. And, that's whenever we were like, okay, like, well, this is very overwhelming. We had to put the podcast on the back burner for a little bit.
Because we had the store blowing up. I think we almost sold out of everything. I mean, their orders were just whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. And then the events started coming in.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I need to keep, and then there's contingent group, the risk mitigation side. We have so much, we had no clue. We didn't know what Sean, and it was funny, Sean and I had a talk. He's like, Eddie, I'm not going to over promise and under deliver, but he's like, just stand by.
Well,
he was not lying.
Thanks, Sean.
So he was not lying. I seriously, like, thank you for having us on there. And it was a good time. And now we still keep in contact and talk about God and all kinds of good stuff. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. So that's kind of just where we've been, is trying to figure out our new way of life, and just all the things that come with that. We had the events, and like, are we both going to go? Am I going to stay and take care of the kids and the dogs? And then are you going to go? And then who's going to do the shipping? And then who's going to? So it's been a lot. So it's not that we've intentionally been like, hey, we don't want to do. Well, I take that back. There was a season where, like, you know what, like, because I know a lot of people reach out to me. I don't know about you, but for me specifically, these women are reaching out, and they want to talk about marriage. They want to talk about relationships. They want to talk about spousal problems. They want to talk about, how are you guys making it? How are you making it with a former Navy SEAL? How are you making it through a blended family?
Very carefully.
And I'm like sitting here right now asking these questions, like,
how do I?
I'm like, well, so am I making it?
One time.
No. So all that to say, it's just been super chaotic, and, there's constantly things being thrown at us and things put on the table for us to do, things to turn down. Like, it's just, and I know life is busy, life is life. Life is never going to be, like, super easy. But I tell you what, this life that we're living is, like,
it's awesome.
It's always something around the next corner.
It's awesome.
So you know what?
I love that.
Listen, I got these slippers. I gotta show you my slippers.
We're just diverting real quick to some slippers.
Because
Stand by.
I saw these slippers. So these are, like, minus all the dog hair. These are, like, the new trend.
So why'd you buy them, though? What you sent me a text?
I saw this and I was like, you know what? Like, everybody needs a little extra something to make them remember to be happy and smile.
There you go. I'm not wearing any shoes right now.
These are so cute.
Shoeless.
And
they are, and they match your shirt, which is pretty cool.
So I don't know where you can get these. Marshalls. You can get this on our website. But anyways, I just thought I would add that in there. Just cute little slippers. Make me happy.
I don't even know where to go with this from now on. Or, like, where do we go after this?
After the slippers?
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyways.
Okay.
So it was just a side.
Yeah, I guess the whole thing too is, like, you get a lot of emails and messages and stuff like that, and people assume, like, you've got it all figured out. And I think we put out in previous podcasts, I think the last one was drinking, which still we have not had any drinks, not even a sip.
So it's been 9 months because...
Well, it was a little bit before that. So it's been it's about 10 months right now.
Okay.
Yeah. So haven't had anything, and just everything. And I think, and Sean Ryan's show did a lot, but I will tell you this, the stuff that's happening in our lives, the stuff that we asked for, the stuff we prayed for, is happening because of our obedience. And I know that I had to quit drinking, which we discussed on our last podcast. I did. I had to stop. And since I've stopped, man, I think I've been better to deal with. Maybe you can just be brutally honest. Tell me.
No, I definitely, I mean, I don't think that the alcohol situation helps anything.
No, I don't think so either.
Yeah, I think your temperament has been a lot more, like, leveled out. So it's been way better. Just
the quitting drinking piece alone was just the clarity that came with it. Yeah. I mean, food tasted better, which I love. I was happier. I wasn't annoyed as easy.
Yeah.
I think I was more patient. I was quick to listen, slow to get angry.
Yeah, and you weren't eating a bunch of crap.
I wasn't eating a bunch of crap at night. I mean, just in which I got diagnosed, I think we said the last time, with diabetes type 2, which will get beaten in that. So, I mean, just my numbers have gone down tremendously. Like, my A1C is almost normal. So it's just been, everything. There's a book by Darren Hardy called The Compound Effect. If you haven't read it, I highly recommend it. And what it is if you do one thing, there's a compound effect. That one thing affects so many different things, and it just goes down. Like me not drinking affects, I'm a better father, I'm a better husband, my family's happier, they're happier in their worlds, our work is more productive, and it just goes on and it just goes on and on. Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what just happened. It's been pretty cool to watch. And especially now, it's always hindsight, right? Like the hot wash in the book is looking back. It's like, I cannot believe I was like that. I think I told you, we were supposed to put out Chapter India on the UNAFRAID podcast. Mm-hmm. And I was watching it and I was seeing my mannerisms, the way I was talking. I called Keith. I was like, bro, we got to redo these chapters. I'm not putting this out. Mm-hmm. I look like a douche. I was disgusted with myself.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
You actually didn't tell me that, by the way.
I didn't tell you that? Mm-mm. Well, hey. What I just said, I'm telling you right now. Yeah, I didn't like what I saw. I didn't like it at all. And we were supposed to put it out. We were up to schedule. The schedule said to put up another chapter. We didn't do it.
Wow.
So.
That's cool.
Yeah. It wasn't cool to watch, I'll tell you that.
No, but it's like when you take yourself out of that, you're able to see.
Right.
Just like in the Bible, how it says to be sober-minded, right?
Yep.
I mean,
yep.
It's...
absolutely. There's a reason for it.
Why.
Yeah, there's a reason the words say what they say.
Yeah.
Which took me a long, long time to understand that and comprehend and actually walk that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, so question for you.
Uh-huh.
While going through all of these things...
By the way, this is not scripted.
I was about to say...
We just sat down and be like, hey, let's just get back into it. So this is not scripted.
Instead of the Penney's podcast, we're going to call ourselves Unscripted.
We'll just go with the Penney's podcast with the bad sign that I can't turn on.
My question is, with everything that has been going on, I mean, take like drinking point or quitting drinking point 9 months ago to
10 months.
Sorry, 10 months ago. I was thinking about the podcast when the podcast was released.
Gotcha.
So from that to all the big things that have happened in our lives, Catherine and Corey, like just different people that have come into our lives. And where do you think, because we've been super open about our marriage on here before, our struggles, our frustrations, our wins. I mean, you name it, we talk about it. And so I'm just curious where you're at mentally and emotionally with us, with all this kind of stuff going on. Like, how do you find a way to keep your center, right? Like, if you will, your center.
Well, God would be the reason, for sure. But, I mean, I love you more.
That's cute.
I do love you more. I do. I mean, when you've got, you're putting substance in your body and you're clouded and you start believing the thoughts that are often not so good, right? Mm-hmm. Especially when you're under the influence of something. I mean, there was rough times in our marriage where I think you felt it, and I know I felt it. It was like, hey, is this even going to last? Is this going to work? But having the clarity and alcohol is one thing, but I mean, seriously, drawing closer to Christ, was the biggest thing. No doubt about it. But it was huge. I look at you differently. I look at you as his daughter, my wife. I think of the two become one. I realize that I have to take ownership for the crap that I was doing and the way I was acting. And this isn't a justification. Please understand that I really didn't know it was that bad. Mm-hmm. I really didn't know until that drinking stopped. And I guess the scales fell off my eyes and I could kind of see it. I was like, in like a certain situation would come up and like, typically I would act this way. Mm-hmm. Now I'm not acting that way. Yeah. I'm like, oh my gosh. Cause I would have those thoughts. Like usually I should be yelling right now, or I should throw a remote control or get out of control. Storm off or go to the gym to go to, to escape. That doesn't happen. I mean, does it happen very rarely? I think would be a good word for it. I mean, does it still happen rarely? Yeah. I mean, it's been months. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's been a long time.
Yeah. Well, and I think I'm going to pause you right there because I think I just thought about something when you were talking. You would escape And I know with like counseling that we've been in, certain counselors have said, take a time out. It's important to take a time out when you feel yourself getting heated to kind of regroup and let yourself kind of regulate. And, but I think that for you, from what I can see now is you are always using that timeout as like the wrong type of escape. So like, I'm going to use my timeout card to not have to talk to her, and I'm going to exit the room or leave the house or whatever to literally run away. It wasn't to regroup to come back and communicate. And I think that ultimately, like for couples out there who argue and maybe even go to counseling and also have been given the advice of taking a timeout, which is it's a great tool. But if you're using the tool as like a selfish reason, I don't know, I guess for me, it's like, okay, like I'm going to take the time out, step away, regulate myself, go pray if I need to, drink a glass of water, do whatever I need to do to bring myself back down in order to carry out my conversation with you in hopes that we can find a resolution. Whereas most people would hear timeout card, great, I'm out of here, see ya, and then never revisit. And so it's that repair phase that like, you know what I mean?
No, I get it. And I would agree with you to an extent on that. I think sometimes the timeout was becoming because I did not want to say certain things because I was starting to get amped up.
Yeah.
Why? Because I said it before, I'm not, tier 1 at regulating my emotions and my mental state when I would say it like during our conflict, but it's like the most petty things in the world. But for some reason it gets can get out of control pretty quick. And I don't want to go there because I know that's more repair that I got to do. I'd rather call a timeout. And, but please, I may agree or disagree with this one. You tell me the truth is lately I can stand and I can listen to you and I can address your feelings and I can talk about things for more than 5 minutes. I can do more than 30 minutes. To be completely transparent, I timed it one time and it was over an hour. Because I was like, oh my gosh, we talked about feelings for over an hour. Like that's huge for me. I can't, like that's hard for me.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, it doesn't interest me at all. Like I'm like, oh my gosh, can we just fix this problem? Can we fix this problem?
Yeah, you're a dude.
But yeah, I mean, talking about your feelings and addressing your feeling, it is extremely important for you. I understand it is. We're dudes are kind of like, hey, can we just fix this? Like, can we fix the issue? And I've learned, I actually was just talking to a buddy yesterday, is sometimes, which I do, I ask you, I'm like, is this where I need to just listen right now? And you'll tell me like, hey, I need to listen. And you've been much better. Tell me like, hey, I need a hug right now. I'm like, oh my God, that's so good than me trying to read your mind and see what you want and figure out what's going on. And I think it's been working.
Yeah.
And it's definitely not perfect. There's a lot to do, definitely mostly on your part, but no, I mean, it's gotten better. It's gotten so much better. I walk in this marriage with confidence. I mean, the last few disagreements, arguments, whatever you want to call them, we've handled them very well.
Yeah.
Extremely well.
And I think it's important to know there's always going to be something. There's always going to be an argument. There's always going to be a discussion. Like, I mean, it's inevitable.
Yep.
I've just always been a huge proponent of like, what does the repair piece look like?
Right.
Because that's the important part. And I think, for people who are having the exact same issues in their marriage and the same struggles, it's like, focus more on the repair piece.
Yeah. And guys, real quick, supposedly, and I just found this out a couple months ago, there are certain ways to say, I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, this is huge.
To certain people.
Yeah.
And I don't know what they are. You can tell me, you probably know better. But like for a dude, it's like, hey man, I'm sorry I did whatever it was. Or just, hey, I'm sorry. All right, rock on, let's move on. We're hugging it out, we're moving on, and we're compartmentalized, and we're just moving on.
On to the next.
But with girls, we've learned through counselors and certain people we see that there's certain ways to say, like for me to say to Amanda, I'm sorry. Some of it could be, hey, I'm sorry for X, Y, and Z. Okay, and that might work for some people. You are not that type of person.
Yeah, no, I'm an ownership person.
Yeah,
so
I've got to,
Yeah, it's just owning like, because anybody can say they're sorry. And so, I mean, everybody knows the biggest apology is change behavior. So it's like, instead of just continually saying sorry all the time for stupid things, just don't do it anymore. That's the easiest way, but it's not typical how, like, we're human. So we tend to do the same things over and over again before we finally learn. But yeah, no, I'm an ownership person, and before everybody laughs at this, like this whole like apology thing, it is a true thing.
It's
like,
a very
it is a
real
proven thing that is based on how would I explain that?
I don't know, but I know that I had to take notes in my phone, and before I do come to apologize, I have to reference my notes so I get it right. And I'm being serious.
Yeah. Well,
I don't anymore.
Yeah.
But I did. At the front, I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, or addressing feeling. I hear what you're saying is this, and you feel this. Am I correct?
Yeah.
And I've learned that just that alone is huge.
Well, and for a long time too.
Thanks to Ed, our counselor.
Yeah. For a long time, I think pride was in the way. So it was like, well, I should just be able to just say sorry, and then you'll be fine. And it's like, okay, well, sorry, that doesn't work. Like, it's it takes both people understanding and also just like empathizing with the other person and being compassionate towards the other person, and honoring the other person. Honor is huge too. You don't have to be like accepting of the way that I need an apology, but if you love me and if you honor me and cherish me as your wife,
Right, I should consider
then you're going to treat me accordingly, right?
Yeah.
It's like the love languages. That's what I was trying to think of.
Yep.
So there's apology languages and then there's love languages. So everyone's heard about the 5 love languages, and there is an apology language as well that kind of coincides with that. And it is just what fits the person's again, okay, I'll go back to it. Sorry, I missed it. Ownership. So I am sorry that I, did this. And then even sometimes it's like, I need an extra, like, I won't do that again. Or, I didn't realize how it made you feel, or I'm sorry that, there's just so many different ways.
Right.
And you have to read the other person's temperature. You kind of have to, and so you do have to take time in understanding that person when you're communicating to them. It's not just a robot.
Yeah, I kind of want you just to get over with it, because that's how I am with my dudes.
Yeah.
We're kind of over it. We're moving on.
What's your apology language?
A simple "I'm sorry"
Yeah.
is cool, with a hug, and I'm good.
Yeah.
That's
simple.
Yeah, the hug thing is good because I like the physical touch thing. Going back to the love languages, but yeah, I'm not. I mean, I of course this goes to severity. If it was something huge, then maybe might not be it. But it's never something huge that you got to apologize. Like maybe a comment or I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, but I think most dudes are probably like that. Not all. And we're all different. But yeah, that works for me. But it's like you said, you say, I promise I won't do that again. And instantly all I hear is you saying, oh, really? Is that right? You just think you can just say you're not going to do it again and then you're not going to do it again? I mean, it's like a double-edged sword almost, it seems like.
Yeah.
Like I want to be like, hey, I'm not going to do this again because this is the result. This is not a bad idea. And then next is like, well, how can you promise that? Well, I can't.
That's true.
Because it kind of goes back to what you just said, your actions. And that is true, it's your action, but I can't leapfrog forward 5 years. Like, hey, I'm still been good. I didn't do what I told you I wouldn't do. That's where my mind goes. I'm like, but it doesn't make sense. It's not logical.
Yeah.
And maybe that's just me. I don't know. Guys, comment. Women, comment. What do you guys think?
Yeah. I get what you're saying.
But it's never a not taking ownership when it comes to that like stuff. Like I won't do that. It's not like I don't want to say it. It's just like I feel like a fraud, I guess, if I say that. That fraud word. I got you. Why did that fraud word get you?
It's just your word.
It's not my word.
It's the word that gets you.
It does. I don't want to be ever called a fraud. Everyone's typing in fraud.
I don't even know where we were going with that.
We were talking about the sorries, about how there's different. I was just kind of like went on a tangent about how like certain sorries matters when you're talking to your wife. It does.
Yeah. Right.
And every person's different. And I don't know why I'm on that. Now we're on this. It's like, I remember talking with Ed, and I think Audra said it too. We've been through a lot of counselors, and they're all wonderful. we've been very fortunate with that, is that a lot of guys, and I used to think this when I was younger, is, all right, I'm done with you because clearly you don't have what I need. This is not working. I'm going to go somewhere else. And still the same problem happens.
Yeah.
And why is that?
Yeah.
Because I wasn't fixed. I didn't fix my problems.
Right.
I mean, I'm thankful to be here with you, but it's true. We got to work on ourselves. We are so good, and I was there forever, and I think you probably have been as, it's them. And we don't take ownership, and that's not right. Take ownership for your crap. You're not perfect. You're not. Even when you think you are not.
Yeah, looking at yourself. What's that thing where like you're pointing at someone else, but when you
Oh,
point
like
to them,
three
you've got
fingers back at you or something like that? Dude, that's like,
old school?
yeah.
I just thought about it because it's true whenever you're constantly like looking at the other person, and I'm 100% guilty of that too. It's like you just, what's the word I'm trying to think of? Not naive, but what am I trying to think of?
Well, it's easy to focus on the other person. It's easy because we're seeing them. It's hard to look back at yourself.
Well, it's
see
like
yourself.
Usually what you don't like in someone else is what you're trying to get out of yourself. What you don't see in yourself or something like that. I don't know. Y'all might want to Google that little thing.
There's probably a syndrome for that or something.
Something about that. I don't know.
Yeah, but that's what's been going on. So we've been doing a lot of relationship stuff, a lot of changing business stuff, a lot of life changes, raising kids, trying to repair. I just put out a video, it comes out this week, to repairing the breach with my children from past stuff, and trying to repair that stuff as well. That's a whole nother task. But it's a joy as well to like mend those relationships, because we've all done some dumb stuff, and I did a lot of it. And unfortunately, kids were in the way and got demolished by my bad actions.
Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, it's only up from here.
calling it.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So yeah, it's been a lot. It has been a lot.
But we're gonna do this more. We need to be speaking. We've gotten a lot of messages that we need to be speaking more. And we like to get up here. It is good to just kind of be transparent and say we don't have it figured out. This is what worked for us. This is what does not work for us.
Yeah.
And if you guys out there have things that work for you and you want to comment on that, please do. But yeah, we're just trying to better ourselves, better our marriage, better our family, better our business, better the people we interact with, and we have put Christ front and center in our lives, and that is the main reason for all the stuff that's happening in our lives. And it's definitely going in a positive trajectory for sure, because we're being obedient and we're listening. And we lost some friends on the way, drinking buddies and other stuff, and we just kind of been turning our lives around. But that's all right, and we attract different people, and we like the people we attract.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting how certain things just fade away, and it's like you never thought, oh well, I don't know. It's just it's all just, I mean, because we're still like getting used to our new life. I say new life because I mean we are new people now. It's just
we are. It literally says new creation, and I get it now.
Yeah,
I understand it now, and my mind's blown.
Yeah, because I mean, there's certain instances where we get asked to do things or something, and I hate saying the word triggered, but I'm so kind of like, you know what situations I'm talking about, where it's like we get asked to do something, and it's like, man, like 2 years ago or even a year ago, maybe I would have been like, yeah, for sure. But it's interesting how even those things change. Mm-hmm. And then you get to a point where you don't even need to explain yourself anymore. It's like, that's just not who I am, and that's not what I'm doing with my time anymore.
Yeah, there is no more like I got to explain why do you do this and why don't you do that anymore? I don't need to explain myself.
It's a no.
I don't need to explain myself.
It's a solid no.
Yeah,
dog.
We protected ourselves from. Did you say dog? Yeah, but it's been a cool ride. It's been awesome to be a part of it with you. It's been great. And there's definitely way more to come. I think we have a lot of topics that we want to talk about. Mm-hmm. So the episodes are going to be coming.
Yeah.
For sure.
There's a lot of people struggling out there. Like a lot of people struggling, and it's heartbreaking reading y'all's emails and like the messages. I mean, I haven't even read. I mean, I know Josh has probably read some, and he's read some to you. And I mean, I try hard to stay on top of those, but there's so many that, and it's honestly, it's so deep that I can't.
It's humbling,
I can't take that on.
It's so humbling.
It's a lot. It is a lot. And just to know, like, there's people out there that are going through all this suffering, but also to know it's not for nothing.
Right. Yeah.
There's a reason behind it. And, it took us a while to kind of figure out what was going on with us, because there is a reason why, marriages aren't staying together, why relationships aren't staying. I mean, there's a solid reason behind that, and we can get into that later on. But
yes,
there's a lot, and so it's been eye opening, and
we are going to get into that stuff in other episodes. We've got a lot of stuff to download to our viewers for sure. We got a lot of stuff. We've been through a lot of stuff. We haven't been just kicking it. We've been working.
We've been digesting.
We've been digesting a lot of stuff.
It's a lot to digest.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
Stay tuned, right?
Stay tuned. Is that it?
Hopefully we can get this sign fixed, and
we're gonna get this sign fixed. I'm actually calling the lighting guy after this. I'm texting him like, "Hey man, we need your expertise because this dude didn't figure it out. The doll spray didn't do as good as I thought. It's not even. I can see the doll, but it's just not even.
Why don't you turn one on just to give people just a little?
They're gonna be blinded.
Let
me turn it on.
Yeah.
All right. I'll turn on
because it's such a cool sign, and honestly,
it's gonna look really bad right now, but.
You guys should see how we have this room set up. There it is.
It's pretty bad. I'm gonna turn it off. It's very bad. Yeah, this room gets used for all kinds of videos. The UNAFRAID Podcast. We do in here the Pennies, and then other consulting things that we have found ourselves with, which is cool. Also, guys, if you want to join our community, you can go to our Patreon page. It's in our link tree. It's on all of our profiles on our media. And it's the UNAFRAID Team Patreon page. You can join us there. We do Bible studies we call it Battle Prep, because it's a little bit different than just the word Bible study doesn't really do it justice. We talk about real stuff. And we're going to start bringing in spouses and wives to join in on that, because we've realized, and this is it's obvious, that we need both parties working together to, better the marriage, and not just the dudes or not just the women. So we're going to be doing that stuff. So we would invite you guys to join us there. There's mentorships there. There's one-on-one calls, all that good stuff. All right, guys, that's it. Thanks for joining us. We have a lot more episodes that we are going to have coming out. We have a lot of stuff we want to talk about. Thank you so much, and be safe, and we love you guys.